Test, 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 test. Hey, it's Chris. Are you ready for the DailyTekk take on the AirPods Pro? Before we get into it, I just have to say, you know how you see so many AirPods around town? Do you know why? I just learned this. AirPods are the #1 headphones, wired or wireless. #1. That's crazy. Let that sink in. But it's like, no wonder you see so many of these everywhere you go. So in today's video, I am going to be doing my first ever listen and test with the AirPods Pro on camera so you can see how it goes. Oh, weird. Oh, that is crazy. I'm also gonna do a comparison between the Pros and the last generation of AirPods, the AirPods 2. So I'm gonna have one in each ear, listen to the same song, and tell you about the differences. And then, of course, I wanna start this video building up to that. That's gonna be like the crescendo. See how we do it? I'm gonna start this off by talking about some things about these new AirPod Pros that I don't know are gonna be mentioned on other videos or in other sources. So hopefully there's some stuff that you haven't heard before. But we're gonna start with that because it's everything that I wanna test at the end of the video. Also, AirPods have a lot to do with Apple Music. I just uploaded a great Apple Music tips video that I think you should check out when you're done with this one. I'll link that up down below, especially because there's an AirPods Pro tip right at the beginning of that video. So check it out. And of course, the timestamps for this video are down in the description if you want to skip around to whatever's most interesting. All right, so AirPods Pro on the website, it says magic like you've never heard before. And in this video, you're gonna hear some AirPods Pro information like you've never heard before. Hopefully. We're gonna jump right in and start with, I think, the burning question for everybody. Should the AirPods Pro sound better than the last gen AirPods? Well, I can tell you definitively that the drivers in the AirPods Pro were designed from scratch to have more bass response. They can go as low as 20 hertz. So a much better range in terms of bass. Now it's gonna be interesting in just a little bit to actually put that to the test. Now there's also a high dynamic range amplifier as well, which should definitely make a difference compared to the last gen. But I think the real place, the real reason why you're gonna hear a difference with the Pros over the last gen has to do with the fact that it's dynamically adapted, the sound for each of your ears. And it has to do with Apple working with you through your iPhone to find the perfect fit with that silicone tip to ensure that the sound sounds as good as possible. Now that's not just something that you're not gonna see on the last gen of AirPods, the AirPods 2. That's not something that you're gonna see on any of the competition anywhere, at least until people start trying to copy. Now, I don't know if you know this, but way back in the EarPods days, before AirPods, the wired EarPods, when those were coming into being, Apple actually went through and did a bunch of 3D scans of people's ears, trying to find the right fit and the best balance for like comfort. And what they've done is they've sort of resurrected that project from what I hear, and they have taken that to a whole new level, trying to get the data just right so that they can know what is going to be the best fit and provide the most comfort for AirPods Pro users. Now that's a crazy attention to detail if you ask me. They're not just sitting there on a computer and saying, well, this should work pretty good. They went out and they got a bunch of data and they did it again and combined it all to make this as good as possible. So yeah, we do now have silicone tips on AirPods Pro, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure yet how I feel about that, because in the past, I haven't really loved silicone tips on earbuds. Always seemed like the cheapest or worst earbuds to me had that. And that was something I liked about the last generation of AirPods, was that they didn't, and I didn't have to mess with that. But that being said, I'm gonna give these a fair shake because Apple designed these so that the place where the silicone tip attaches to the rest of the body of the AirPod, it's so thin, it's so small, the connector, that no part of the AirPod itself actually goes into that silicone tip. It's basically empty, and that is very different from other designs where there's like a hard piece of metal or something in there. And so what you get with the AirPods Pro is a surface that can really mold and shape to your ear comfortably, and that's part of what provides that better seal in your ear as well. Also, talking about that fit, something that's pretty cool is that your iPhone can tell you if you need a different sized ear tip for each of your ears, because I don't know if you know this, but some people's ears are actually different sizes. Same person, 2 different ear sizes. And the iPhone is smart enough to help you figure that out for the best sound and the best fit. Now, while we're talking about comfort, I have to mention there's a vent on each of your AirPod Pros, which helps to equalize the pressure on the outside and the inside, resulting in a more comfortable fit. Why is this cool? Why is it important? Why is it good? Well, look, I've used other products that didn't have a vent like this, and they were uncomfortable because your head kind of ends up feeling plugged. And it's weird and it's not comfortable, especially when they have like tap controls. You don't want to be tapping on that pressure, you know what I mean? So this fixes that. Now you probably noticed, just looking at the pictures and the video and whatever, that the stick on the AirPod Pros is actually shorter than the last generation of AirPods. Now it's actually, I measured 0.37 inches or 37/100ths of an inch shorter than the last gen. Now, on other videos, you're just gonna learn that it's shorter, but there's a reason why it's shorter. Let me tell you what that is. It's because Apple used for the first time in this product SIP, or System in a Package technology, which takes a bunch of components and kind of melds them into one, which then takes up less space and results in a smaller, shorter stick. Now, on that stick or stem, there's a force sensor, which is basically your button for controlling what's happening with your AirPods, noise cancellation, all that. I'm gonna go over that in more detail in the Q&A at the end of this video, so stay tuned. So the biggest feature here is the noise cancellation, and I have to point out that it's active noise cancellation. It's not just passive, and there's a big difference. So as you're starting to learn here, there's 2 mics on each Pro, one on the outside, one on the inside, and that outer mic listens for the noise around you and then matches that up with what you should be hearing, and it injects some anti-noise to that noise so that by the time it hits your ear, you're actually not hearing it. That's the goal. Now here's the absolutely crazy part. The Pros are constantly adapting what that sound is like up to 200 times per second, not even per minute, per second, to deliver the best quality in there. And what they're doing is analyzing the fit and the seal, using the microphone inside and everything, and measuring the geometry of your ear to give you the best results. Are you kidding me? So like the noise canceling on the Beats Solo Pro, there is a transparency mode. And what that means is you can either block all the noise out, or you can choose to let some of it in and have like a mix. So you can listen to whatever's playing, your music, a podcast, whatever you're doing, and the environment around you, whether you're walking to work and you don't want to get hit by a car, or you just want to hear what your coworkers are saying about you without them knowing that you're listening. I've absolutely loved that on the Solo Pro, so I anticipate loving that as well with the AirPod Pros. Now here's something very interesting. I've been told that with the transparency mode activated, because of the vents and because of the design and because of the mics, it should feel very close to having nothing in your ears. That's like what it should feel like with transparency mode activated. I'm really excited to try that out. All right, it's time for the first listen. So I'm gonna get these loaded up and get it all set up with my phone and go from there. First of all, we're gonna have to deal with like getting the right seal and the fit. And wow, I can already, without doing like a perfect fit or anything, tell that the passive noise isolation is gonna be amazing. Wow. You gotta love Apple with the screen that pops up to just one tap and connect with your new devices. All right, so I'm connected. The first thing that I'm gonna do is go into my Bluetooth settings, and I'm gonna hit the little eye right to the right of my AirPods Pro, and I'm gonna find the ear tip fit test. I'm gonna click on it, play. We've got some music, I guess it's measuring. Good seal. I got a good seal in both. So, and you guys knew that. Like the first time I put them in, I said that sounds really good. Good noise isolation. So both, left, right, good seal. So the mediums that came pre-installed are gonna work great. So I'm gonna hit done. And then I'm gonna fire up Apple Music. Okay, volume checks like 55, 60%. Here we go, very first listen. Okay, the noise cancellation is on. can't hear this at all. Wow. Okay. I don't want to overdo it, but the bass definitely sounds really crisp. I'm impressed. I don't know. If somebody is out there complaining about this, then they maybe just want to complain. Okay, I'm gonna do the dual test in a minute because I actually think that'll be better in terms of being able to tell you if there's a big difference between the old ones and these Pros. But let me talk about the comfort really quick. They definitely feel like they fill up more of my ears versus the old AirPods. But I won't say that it's uncomfortable. I don't think it is. It's not uncomfortable. But I mean, immediately it felt way different than the old AirPods. Yeah, I guess that seal is no joke because there's nothing getting in or out. It's pretty cool, actually. I'm gonna have to test these over like many hours because often, like when I'm editing or something, I'll have something in or on my head for 3 or 4 hours at a stretch. So I'm gonna have to test that. Like, can I use these all day? Now, one thing I will say is it doesn't feel like I'm wearing nothing. Like, I noticed them there, and that has to do with that seal. The seal is such a seal that it's not like just floating in my ear. So like, I know that I've got something in my ear. But let me turn on that transparency mode, and then maybe as it's letting more of the ambient environment in, maybe then it will feel different. Let's see. Oh, weird. Oh, weird. Oh, that is crazy. Now that's crazy. That feels like, okay, so it gives you the effect of like not wearing these, but it's not a feel. Like, I feel them, but from like an audio standpoint, hearing myself talking to me, that's cool. Now that's cool. So in this way, yes, it's starting to trick my brain and be like, you don't have anything in your ears because I'm able to hear everything. Oh yeah, that's crazy. I was hearing somebody's dog bark out there. I don't hear it anymore. Okay, but what we gotta do is test the same song on both AirPods, the Pros and the old. So I'm gonna take this out and get one of my old AirPods out. And I got this paired to 2 different iPhones. And so the trick is gonna be to hit play at the same time. All right, here we go. Here's the AirPod split test. Got the old AirPod over here, the version 2, Gen 2, and this is the brand new AirPods Pro over here. The song is 116 by Triple E. Play. Oh yeah. It feels like there's only bass in this side. I can't even tell there's bass over here. Yeah, I feel like I'm detecting a few things over here that I'm not over here. Certain tones, like with the drums and stuff. It's almost like this is like a faint echo of this. But there's no question. If you had this setup going on in your ears right now, you would say, yes, wow, let's go. This is what I'm gonna buy because dang. All right, let's test out the noise canceling. Oh yeah. This definitely sounds a lot further away. Probably because it's traveling over here and that's where I'm hearing it. I don't know. What do you guys think about the look? Can you tell? Like, what's the difference? Okay, here comes the bass. It hits over here. It's like there over here, but it's like, boom, here I am, the bass in this side. I mean, definitively, like I told you in the beginning of the video, I said this one, the Pro, is supposed to have better bass, a better range down to that 20 hertz, and it does. Here's almost a good way to put it. It's like when you're going to the concert venue, right? And there's music going and you can hear it outside, right? You hear that music, but it's not thumping as much. It's not as clear because you're like out of the building. The AirPod Pros are like when you're in the building and you're in the actual room and all of a sudden it's like more immersive. All right, let's get to the Q&A. And the first question that somebody asked was, how does the new bigger charging case fit in the pocket versus the older one, which was definitely had a smaller footprint? And this is interesting. If it's just 2 naked cases, then yeah, this one's a little bigger. But I have had my old AirPods in this 12 South canvas case. And when I hold those up together, this one with the case, the old AirPods, is actually a bigger footprint than this. So I'm used to this. I carry that around all the time in my pocket. So this is gonna be a breeze, like no problem at all. And it is a little bigger, obviously, but it's not that big. It almost surprised me when I saw the pictures, like that's gonna be huge. And I didn't like the long cases that I've seen with other companies, but the footprint is actually smaller than I thought it was gonna be. And here, let me just put it in the pocket right now. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Next question is, would I wear the AirPod Pros with their noise canceling on a plane, like for travel, for a trip, over, would I pick them over on-ear or over-ear noise canceling headphones? Now that's a good question. All things being considered, I would pick them because they're smaller. And that almost has more to do with the fact that there's noise canceling and they're just smaller, easier to take with me, than whether the noise canceling is better than something that's over the ear, which may then have better noise isolation. But I don't know that it would. The fit is so crazy on these. I don't know that over ears are going to beat it in terms of noise isolation. So I don't know. You could get really nitpicky, probably. I'm sure people out there are going to be like, oh, I'm never going to stop taking my Bose or whatever on a plane. But smaller is better for me when I'm traveling. Even when I'm just going to the coffee shop to work or something. The less bulky, whether it's cameras or accessories like this, the better for me. So I think definitely these go on the plane with me over noise canceling headphones for sure. Somebody else asks, does the noise canceling affect the battery? The answer is yes, obviously. That's going to require more processing and power and whatever. But the good news is it's only 30 minutes per earbud. Now, here's the thing. You get up to 4.5 hours of listening straight with one charge. And there's 24 hours of listening with multiple charges. These are the charging case. But 4.5 hours in one straight up session. But you can get an hour's worth of extra listening with just 5 minutes of charging. So really, you tell me, is it going to be a huge deal if that noise canceling is going to drop your battery so you can only do 4 hours instead of 4.5? Especially if you can get a whole extra hour with just 5 minutes? Nah, that's no big deal. Next question is Pros or the previous generation, the AirPod 2s, for a first-time AirPods buyer? That's a good question. In one way, it's very simple, like get the best one that you can afford, right? But on the other hand, if you're just trying to dip your toes into the ecosystem and see if you like it, just for the convenience factor, then there's something to be said about getting the last generation. It's not like the last generation is bad. I don't want this video to come off like it's the pros or nothing. Because the last gen I've enjoyed. And I enjoyed the original AirPods, like even before wireless charging and everything, which I've actually ended up not even using that much, the wireless charging, FYI. I'm glad it's there, but I don't use it hardly at all. But I'm just thinking about like convenience, being able to control your AirPods from your Apple Watch. And by the way, you can control the Pros now from your Apple Watch, including the noise cancellation mode. Like you can do that right off your Apple Watch, but you can still control what's the now playing screen with your old AirPods too. That's convenient. When you go to watch TV with your Apple TV and you want to hook up and like listen privately, not disturb everybody in the house when you're watching your movie, then it's just hold down the play button and instantly connect to your AirPods. You know what I mean? Convenience really is the name of the game with Apple, especially with the old ones, because the sound was like one area that they sort of got dinged. It's like, it's not quite good enough compared to other things on the market for the price. Well, it's good enough now with the Pros. But what you did get with the old ones was just pure convenience. And that's still worth something, absolutely. Somebody says, why do I even need the AirPods Pro? Well, there's a few things. First of all, do you like your music? Do you want it to sound better? That's like the obvious answer. So we're going to steer clear of that and move into like the uses for noise cancellation, which is the same thing for any noise canceling stuff. But travel, noise canceling is like just a super convenience when you're traveling. You're at the airport, you want to drown everything out, or in the plane or whatever. Also, when you're working, I love using noise canceling at work so I can interact with people, but still also interact with my work. That's great. I already mentioned this. I've been mentioning a lot, but like safety. If you walk to work, for instance, or if you're on the scooter shooting over to work and you need to cross the street, like it's helpful to not have to take out your earbuds, but still be able to hear like what's around you. So that passive mode is super convenient and helpful there. And I guess the other angle is just like some people like to be cutting edge, like have the latest thing. So there's like the hype beast angle. Somebody says, are the silicone tips actually comfortable because they've used other earphones with silicone tips that weren't comfortable? I'm with you. I agree. That's why I said this in several videos ago. Like I was like, I don't even want these to have ear tips. I like them the way they were. Now, on the other side, okay, I'm a different person now having used these from the person that started this video in the very beginning and was unsure about the silicone tips. So far, with just a few minutes of listening, they didn't hurt. They did provide a really great seal. And so far, I'm not hating them. For the reason that I stated earlier, there's nothing inside them like there are in other silicone tips, so they can really mold around and fit into your ear without causing any discomfort, which is cool. Somebody else asked, are there any controls on the AirPod Pros themselves? And yes, there is. There's that force sensor on both sides on the stem, so you can press that, and it's got a little feedback. Almost feels like a bit of a click. But there's no more tapping, though. That's gone. And it's for the reason I already alluded to. When you're tapping something in your ear, that's not the best solution. It's not super comfortable. Even with the vent, probably I'm just guessing they thought, hey, let's do this. And I think pinching down here works a lot better, to be honest. But this is really basic stuff, like one, squeeze for play or pause or answer a call. 2 squeezes to skip forward or go backward with your tracks. And then you can also control your ANC, your active noise canceling, if you press and hold. That's gonna mess with those modes. Okay, next question is, how good are these for a workout? I don't know, because I just got them. I'm guessing that Powerbeats Pros are probably superior in many ways just for the fit. Like if you're doing something really active, really crazy, because of that ear hook, just gonna keep them on there, better. But I'm guessing these are also going to be a good choice. So here, I don't know. Let me just shake my head around and see. Yeah, I mean, I can't get them out of my head. So I guess they're probably gonna be pretty good. Last question, how easy are they to put in and take out of your ear? They're actually very easy. I like the little ding that you get when you put it in and take it out. One thing I'm noticing though, like versus the Powerbeats Pro, this is a million times simpler because it's just in and out. Boy, that seal is good. Man, you can really tell. Great seal and very comfortable again. But when I take it out, sometimes the tip, it like reverses it, but it never like goes all the way fully reversed, but you can feel it like you can hear it sort of trying to reverse itself. But nope, it's very easy. Man, I'm gonna love these. It's already a little bit tricky figuring out which one goes in which side of the holder. That's going to take some time to learn, but that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought. Leave your questions down below. I or the community will try to answer those for you. Don't forget, go check out our Clips channel. Check out the podcast. It's out every Friday in your favorite podcasting app. So you can search for the DailyTekk After Party. That's the name of the podcast. Would love to connect with you there in a different way. And also, I'm at DailyTekk, spelled Daily Tekk on Instagram and Twitter. Later.